Hello and welcome to B'nai Baruch's continuing series of lessons on Kabbalah. Tonight's lesson is lesson 11, the correction of Adam, and you'll find that article in the class schedule at week 13, lesson 11, the correction of Adam. And I'd like to extend an invitation to everyone, in case you haven't already heard. There's a big congress coming up in February 2009, February 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, in Israel. We're expecting a large crowd of about 6,000 or so of students and friends, and we'd like to see you there. So if you haven't registered yet, please seriously consider registering. It's a little early yet, but it'll go fast. There's 1,000 people already registered. We begin every lesson with an intention. Tonight's intention comes from Rav Lightman. A person should concentrate on the fact that everything is located inside of him. You should not look for some kind of a star that is far or near. All of that is inside of me. Then a person begins to think that the notions of close and far are determined by his attributes, or by how much a thing is spiritually close or far from him. If from the very beginning a person will think that everything is located inside of him, then everything will look different and will have a different meaning to him. And now lesson 11, the correction of Adam. The birth of the five worlds, Adam Kadmon, Atzilut, Beriah, Yetzirah, Asiya. The birth is actually the realization of the five Sfirat, Keter, Hakma, Bina, Zir Anpin, and Malkut, which were in Malkut itself. The spreading of the worlds from above to below matches the progressive increase of the Aviyut of the four desires. The worlds are much like a sphere surrounding Malkut. As an analogy, picture a man surrounded by concentric spheres and using his organs of sensation to perceive only the sphere closest to him, the world of Asiya. By sharpening his organs of sensation and by modifying his qualities, man begins gradually to perceive the next sphere and the next sphere, and so on. All of the worlds are a sort of filter placed in the light's path, a special screen that blocks the surrounding light, the Or Makif. As soon as man senses the presence of these worlds, he removes the screen filters. This draws him closer to the Creator. If the light reached man without being filtered, it would bring about the Shavarat HaKalim of man's vessels, the breaking of the vessels. By removing all screen worlds, man allows all the worlds to penetrate him. At this stage, man acquires the light and possesses attributes similar to those of the light. Such a state of being is associated with Gemar Tikkun, the end of correction. In the beginning, we as creatures are located inside the worlds and perceive their power and the constraints imposed upon us. How can we overcome these constraints? By performing an inner correction, overcoming, for instance, how can we overcome these constraints? By performing an inner correction corresponding, for instance, to the attributes of the world of Asiya. This means being an altruist on level 0. When we acquire the attributes of 0 altruism on that level, the world of Asiya penetrates us and can then be sensed by us. In order to sense the world of Yetzirah, we must acquire attributes similar to those of this world and to allow this world to penetrate us. At this stage, we become level 1 altruists. Our goal is to let all the worlds in and to become similar to those worlds according to the following degrees of Aviyut, 2, 3, and 4. By this means, Malkut is fully corrected and absorbs the first 9 Sfirat, while we move beyond the limits of all the worlds and reach the world of infinity, of Olam Ein Sof. To begin correction, we need to recognize our own attributes as well as to aspire to the attributes of the Creator.
Okay, so what in the world is all this about? What are they telling us here? They're saying it's like an onion.
Yeah, a lot of layers.
A lot of layers, and each layer
is a different level of concealment.
That's right. We get more and more and more concealed as we come further and further away from the Creator on the way down, all the way to...
These concealments are what they call worlds.
That's right. So, there's a problem here. If everything is concealed, if I can't... And by the way, what is concealed? What's actually in concealment here? What can't I sense? And we say the Creator, but what's that? What am I concealed from?
Good question.
This is a problem that most students, when they start out, they really suffer from, because they say, I'm not concealed. Person, pen, tea, spice, tea, water. I have desk, wood. Where's the concealment? What concealment? I don't get it. And that's just it.
We don't even realize we're concealed.
No, we say from God, from the Creator, from Hashem, from whatever name you want to use, Elohim, whatever. I'm concealed from God, but that doesn't give me anything either. Then I start guessing, what's this and what's that, and I'm lost completely.
All right, trying to imagine what God is.
So how do I come about this? Well, I begin with a desire for something that I can't explain from anywhere. And slowly but surely, this desire leads me to seek an answer to a very fuzzy question that starts to clear up slowly. And finally...
What is the meaning of my life?
Exactly. What in the world...
What am I here to do?
What on the planet for? I mean, what? I'm here to be born, grow up as a kid, have those teenage years. Oh boy, those teenage years. Go to college, get my degree, get married, have some kids, have a job, grandkids, enjoy a few retirement years, and then gone. Okay, what is the reason for all this? That's it? I mean, I'm just supposed to do that? Surely there's something else in this deal. Got to be another function somewhere.
What is it?
Yeah, that's the real question. What is the meaning of my life? What is the reason that I'm on the planet? So I have this desire that begins to lead me back toward this thing called concealment. In other words, something's concealed from me here. What in the world is missing here? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And the entire goal is to find some way to fulfill this desire that I don't even know what it's for. I know that I want to find out about something. That's what I know. Find out about what? I don't know. They call it spirituality. I want to find out about something about what I can't perceive, in other words. In other words, I'm already starting to scratch my head saying, you know what? There's something there that I can't perceive. By golly, I am in concealment.
So all I know is I have a desire, I have a feeling for something. I don't know what it is. It's just that I'm not being fulfilled in this world, and I want something else. I don't know what. That's what you're saying. But I just want...
I'm in concealment.
There's got to be something else.
Yeah, that's a concealment. Do I sense that? Why is it a concealment? If I don't feel the desire, there's no concealment. Concealment of what? Mm-hmm. But if I begin to feel the desire, now I begin to feel, I mean, a desire for spirituality. What spirituality?
Something's hidden from me.
Something's wrong here. Something's messed up in this deal.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if and the first thing that hits me is, I wonder if I can use it to make things better here.
Yeah, get some fun out of that.
That's right. Maybe I can get some mileage out of this spiritual thing. Make it happen.
Right.
We got a question?
Joseph, Montreal. Do I hate the Creator because I'm the opposite to Him and my ego doesn't really want to change? Our ego doesn't want to change.
Besides.
Yeah, what Creator?
What Creator? this thing that I call the Creator? Where? What Creator? I mean, you got him hidden. What Creator?
Yeah. And do I really want to change?
At first, no way. What am I after?
Usually I just want to feel better.
You betcha. I want to find a way to get more pleasure, right?
Right.
So something's wrong here. Something's seriously messed up. What am I going to do? Well, what did I just find out in the first part of this article? I found out that the worlds are like spheres that surround Malchut. And we can call Malchut this black dot right here, okay? And so what I'm going to have is I'm going to have worlds. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
And we need one more. Where let's see, how did he word it? He worded it as an analogy. Picture a man surrounded. A man surrounded by concentric spheres using his organs of sensation to perceive only the sphere closest to him. Wow, cool, okay. The world of Asiya. Okay, so this guy's going to picture the sphere closest to him. That'd be this one right here. And I'm going to call this one Asiya. Asiya. Sorry to read. Asiya. Now, by sharpening his organs of sensation and by modifying his qualities, man begins gradually to perceive the next sphere, and so on. All the worlds are a sort of filtered place in the light's path. So what we can say is he can see this, and then he can see the next world. Yetzirah. And really it should be spelled T-S, Yetzirah.
Yetzirah.
Yetzirah, Ken. Yes. And then
Bria.
Bria. And finally,
Absolute.
And if we wanted to be really exact about the deal, we're going to put Adam Kadmon out here for you. And so this gives you an idea of what this author's trying to tell us here is that we have.
Is Adam Kadmon also a level of concealment?
Yes, obviously, because it is a parsuf with a masach, and if you have a parsu, I mean it contains parsufim with masachim. If you have this circumstance, what does the masach do? What's its job? It's to prevent me from receiving pleasure or sensation of pleasure within, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Unless I can receive it in order to please the Creator. All of the worlds are a sort of filter placed in the light's path, a special screen that blocks the surrounding light, the Or Makif. As soon as man senses the presence of these worlds, he removes the screen filters, and this draws him closer to the Creator. So what we're going to end up doing is, slowly but surely, we're going to end up erasing each one of these. So at first, I only sense this much of what's around me. And then, after I've corrected a little bit more, I sense this much. and there's Malchut.
And why is that, Mike? If we can go back, why didn't it start from the pay?
It doesn't tell us yet.
Okay.
He didn't tell us. So, I don't know. All I know is what the author's telling me.
Okay.
That's it. So, what can I say? I can say, he's saying that this is the structure of the system of correction of the souls, of where they're going to be corrected. That's all I know. Maybe you'll tell us a little bit here why. Maybe we can figure it out. The 3 parts of Fema Vatik, have we gone that far? Mm-hmm. The 3 parts of Fema Vatik, Erekampin, and Abba Ve'ima are called Keter, Chokmah, Bina, which correspond to Keter, Chokmah, and Bina of the world of Nekudim, over here. From here to here. Vatik, Erekampin, and Abba Ve'ima. And I tried to draw them that way, although I was a little bit off. I guess I should have made this more here. I thought I had an eraser. So, the Rosh of the world of Absolute corresponds to the 2 heads of the world of Nikudim and fulfills the same function. What does it mean, 2 heads? It means 2 Rosh, 2 Roshim. Here. We're going to have 2 different Rosh here. We're going to have Keter and Abba. And actually, you can even look at it this way. You can look at it as all of this. Okay? And so we're going to have roughly the same thing over here. What we're going to have is the Rosh of the world of Absolute consists of a Tik, Erek, Ampin, and Abba Ve'ima. Well, a Tik is the Gar of Keter, and Erek Ampin, if you look how this is set up here, Erek Ampin is the Ahap, or the Zat of Keter. The vessels of bestowal of Keter, and the dividing line, the vessels of reception of Keter.
But all of this is considered the 2 heads?
Yes.
And then a GE,
this
a
part,
bar, and a Zat.
just this part right here. Let's use a different color, it'll be easier to see. Just this part right here. Right from there to there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That makes a Tik.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
This part in here is what makes Erek Ampin.
Erek Ampin, and then you have the same, the Gar and the Zat here also?
We have Abba Ve'ima, which was made by Abba Ve'ima. But you have got a point, because there's going to be part of this Ima that is called the Zat of Ima. That's going to become a separate part all on its own. It's going to be called Yesh Sut. It will be important later, so we'll want to check that out later, not now. However, Zerampin and Malchut are gradually restored. Oh, we skipped some. The Rosh of the world of Absolute consists of Atik, Erek, Anpin, Abba Ve'ima, was the first to emerge on the Reshimot of the non-broken Hilim of the world of Nikodim. So this is the non-broken Hilim. Now, do you remember earlier when we said that we had 8? Here's where our 8 comes in. 8 times 4 times 32.
Okay.
Pardon me, 8 times 4 times 10.
This gave us our 320.
320 vessels that broke.
Right, okay.
Okay. What else did God tell us? He has to say, however, Zerampin and Malchut are gradually restored. So Zerampin and Malchut, that's the Zon part, that's gradually restored. Only Gagaltavi and Ayam are restored from Zerampin, and a single point from Malchut. The hops of Zerampin and Malchut are in the worlds of Bia. So, in the worlds of Bia, this guy just threw in a whole new section on us. Mm-hmm. Bia. What's Bia? Bria, Yetzirah, Asiya, right?
Okay.
Right. Okay. The hops of Zerampin and Malchut are in the worlds of Bia. If these hops are corrected, then all the worlds are corrected. So all we got to do is correct these parts that broke, and we got the whole deal done. That's all we need. Okay.
So we only have to correct Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya. This is a world.
Well, no, we aren't correcting the worlds. What we're correcting is the hops that broke here, the vessels of reception that broke here. And what really broke? That's the real key. What in the world broke on these things? We say it broke. What? I mean, it's like a glass that shatters. Is that what the deal is? It's like breaking something?
It's not what we're told.
No. Actually, it's the Messiah. It's the loss of its Messiah. It causes it to attain these attributes of that current level. To where it falls. And the higher it is, the more it's going to fall low. If it's just a little bit high, it falls just a little bit low. If it's way high, it falls way down here. What else they got to tell us here? What's the Parsuf? Oh, the correction is carried out with the help of the Parsuf of Adam HaRishon. Up! That's us. Or will be. That's the overall soul. What is the Parsuf of Adam HaRishon like? Malchut of the world of Absolute is raised to the level of Bina. Bina, Abba Ve'ima, that would be, it's raised up to here. This is achieved in 3 phases. The whole of the world of Absolute then ascends 3 levels. This whole thing is going to ascend. The whole of the world of Absolute. The normal condition of the world of Absolute is called a weekday. During such days, the world of Absolute is illuminated by an incomplete light which spreads down to the Parsah. After this, a great light comes down from above and grants higher attributes to the world of Absolute, making it move up 1 level, from here, up another level, making it move up 1 level. Now Malchut is in the place of Zerampin. So if everything moves up a level, look what this is going to do. Now Malchut's going to be here.
So all of this is considered...
Zerampin's going to be up... whoa, wow. How did I do? Where's that blasted eraser? Aha.
So all of this is considered absolute, and this all moves up, or just this is absolute? This
whole thing is absolute, actually. Although these worlds clothe it. You know
it's
what?
not working. You have the tape?
Who bought this stuff? That's awful. So, look where Zerampin goes to. Right up here. Where Abba Ve'ima currently is. Abba Ve'ima is going to rise where a teak is, and a teak is going, where Eric Ampin is going to, Abba Ve'ima is going to rise up here. Eric Ampin is going to rise up here. And a teak is going to go right up there, above the tabor, the general tabor. This whole thing went, tink, moved.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what they're conveying here. The world of Absolute then ascends 3 levels. Okay, after this, greater light comes down from above and grants higher attributes to the world of Absolute, making it move up 1 level. Now Malchut is located in the place of Zerampin. Zerampin now reaches the level of Abba Ve'ima. Abba Ve'ima replaces Eric Ampin, which in turn rises to the level of a teak, which finally rises even higher into Sag. Sag. Wow, huh? The first elevation of the world. Oh, that's your turn, isn't it?
That's where we left off.
Nah, let's go from there, please.
The first elevation of the world of Absolute takes place on Friday evening, Erev Shabbat. Such a progression is called awakening from above. In our world, this corresponds to days, weeks, time, and all that is not dependent on us but is dependent on the laws of nature, over which we have no control. The next phase elevates the world of Absolute even one level higher. Malkut now stands on the level of Abba Ve'ima, where it is endowed with an additional attribute, the intention to give. At this stage, Malkut may receive for the Creator's sake. It now has a screen and is able to perform a zivug dehaka, thus creating a new partzafim, based on the attributes of Abba Ve'ima on the one hand, and on the attributes of Malkut of Ein Sof on the other hand. Malkut creates a new partzuf called Adam HaRashan. For a Kabbalist, spiritual states called Erev Shabbat, Friday evening, Shabbat, Saturday, and Motzai, Shabbat, Saturday evening, may be experienced on days bearing no connection to the calendar. For a Kabbalist, 6 days may last a split second, while Shabbat may last several days. Everything that occurs in this world relates to our bodies, but what takes place in the spiritual world relates to the soul. For the time being, we can witness that our soul and body are not synchronized. But in the future, our world will operate with the same principles as those of the spiritual worlds, which will happen when the Gemar Tikkun is achieved. Then all the deeds of the two worlds, as well as all of the times, will merge. If you have changed, and the change has taken you 1 second, and your next change takes 5 years, then this means that your next second will have lasted 5 years. In the spiritual world, time is measured by the transformation of our attributes. 1,000 years may elapse in our world before one begins to study Kabbalah. Upon entering the spiritual, we are able to live in one day what we used to live in several lives. This is an example of transformation and the shrinking of time.
You know, Dave, this is exactly the hardest part to get, because one is constantly, I mean, when we start looking at all of this junk here, I mean, it looks like chicken scratch. Like, what in the world is all this stuff, right?
Yeah, Jasmine, what in the world are all these numbers for?
Oh, Jasmine, we're just having some fun. Now,
Just for knowledge.
yeah, when we start talking about, what are we really talking about here when we start talking about time, when we start talking about days, weeks, months, years, Shabbat, you know, and that we're talking about a change of states. Something changed. For a Kabbalist, what we're talking about is, look, I can go through 6 lifetimes and nothing changed. I'm just staying the same each time, never progressing a bit. Bad deal. On the other hand, I can be in a system to where that change is dramatically accelerated when I play an active role in it. Because the truth is, Dave, there isn't a blasted thing I can do about it. I can't do anything within the system except speed it up. That's it. I'm stuck past that. I have nothing else to do. So it's a problem. It's a problem.
The system's set. We have to go through it. It's just at this pace that we go through.
It's exactly, yeah, you're not allowed to jump. Let's go back to the 10-year-old that wants to be 13.
Right. I just want to be over here.
Right, yeah, just zap me right over there, no problem. Yeah, well, I got news for you. That's not Gemar Tikkun, because what's going to happen is this whole blasted thing's getting ready to break. And you're going to call it the fall of man when it does. There's going to be a partzuf that is built over here, and this partzuf you're going to call Adam HaRashan, just like it mentions here. And this thing is going to go through some operations of some sort, they'll describe them to us. And when it goes through those operations, what's going to occur is it's going to decide, just like in the world of Nicodemus. Just like when Nicodemus, when the world of Nicodemus was in Katnut.
Thought he could bring the light down.
That's the same for us being in the Garden of Eden. No problem. No hassles in the world. Hey, this is great. No problem. Except for
Same result.
Except for what's going to happen. It's going to say, oh, here's something, here's a place, here's a parsa where the light cannot go down from. It's called Apple. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I'm not going to say it. Yeah, I will. It's Eve's fault. What's going to happen? Yeah, the will to receive.
The will to receive
is going to request light. That request is not going to be denied. The moment that light passes under parsa,
everything breaks.
Everything breaks. Hence, it falls all the way below the siyum, down here.
To what we call our world.
Yeah. What's our world? A place of concealment. What are these? Pieces of broken kli. That's it. So let's grab a question or two. What do you think?
Sure. Leia from Colorado. Why will the Creator help on the last 32? Is it possible that there is another world, or even more shielded than our own?
Creator helps on the last 32 because we don't have the forces to correct that level of aviyut. That level of aviyut is the strongest. It's very, very high, and there's nothing for us to correct there. Just don't have the ability to do it. It requires a very pure light to correct it. We don't have that in our repertoire. We can only correct to Bina. You have to have Hakman to correct it. Let's see.
Betsy from Florida asks, so if someone finds Kabbalah at a younger age, does that mean they have reached a higher level from their last reincarnation and are moving up the ladder of attainment quicker?
No. It means that you've reached a higher level of desire, of egoism, of evil, faster. So, it isn't always what you're thinking. Everyone thinks, oh yeah, I'm more spiritually advanced. No, the problem is you're more egoistic. That's why you reach it at an earlier level. Now that said, guess what? It's good. This is good. This is what you have to have. It's a must. Yes?
Right. Well, you wouldn't. All you have to work with, right?
Right.
Let's see. Bruce asks, here below the barrier in our world of concealment, the physical universe, is there other life on other worlds or planets?
Oh, a question regarding aliens?
I guess.
No.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, Kabbalah doesn't say anything really about this world. It only talks about the spiritual worlds, and that's it.
Nathan, how does a person that is severely or mildly retarded attain Gemar Tikkun? Is Gemar Tikkun possible? Do we assist them?
If it is a severe thing that precludes them from being able to function correctly, the beautiful part is they don't have to do anything this time around. They're fine just as they are. They're going through what they must go through in order to advance. And they're taken care of actually are taken care of.
Question from Robert in Dallas. How do I know if I was human or not in a previous lifetime?
Because, Robert, that's your only option, buddy. You don't have a choice. It isn't like you were a goldfish last time and then reincarnated into a human. That's not the way it is.
Doesn't work that way.
No. You can't be a worm. Zakr. No. Uzi from Grand Junction, Colorado.
Mike, at the Congress in our men's group and at the dinners, I couldn't shake off the feeling of deja vu. Has everyone in this group, Kli, known each other in the past? Does the Kli in this material generation represent a group in spirituality?
Boy, do you really want to know that, Uzi? Boy, have I been with this guy before? Oh, man. The truth is, yes. You're talking about desire, not people. Forget the people aspect. Take the people out of reincarnation. Reincarnation is about similar qualities, and that's it. Okay? It's about the change of qualities, the slow progression toward the proper desire that one needs in order to advance in the spirituality. You're going to start answering these because I'm losing my voice. You hear that, right?
Have a drink. Bringing more fluids. Pablo from Atlanta. Mike, could you help us to understand that everything happens inside of us? Oh, boy.
Pablo, that's a question straight from perception of reality. It's a good subject. It's very interesting. Everyone wants to know. Everyone wants to see it. You know, I use the same analogy about this all the time. Pablo, here's how it works. There is me. And what I drew there is my brain. Now, I have five senses. One of them being my eyes. And inside my eye, I have a system. I have a pupil and I have a lens. Right? Light's going to enter into my eye. It's going to come right on through. The lens is going to flip it around and it's going to reflect it so that it spreads out onto this type of screen here that's called the retina. In other words, everything stopped right there. No more light entered me past that. That's as far as it goes in, period. And this isn't seeing. That's just light striking something. That's it. Now there are rods and cones here that are connected. They connect together in this thing called the optic nerve. Right? And this optic nerve runs into my brain. So what's happened here? It's transformed into chemical, then electrical signals into my brain. Who was this that had this?
Paco.
No, that's not the same question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pablo, I think.
Pablo?
Go back up here. I think it was.
Other way.
Oh, sorry.
Pablo.
Yeah, Pablo.
Okay, so Pablo, what's going to happen? Inside my brain, in the back of my head, back here, there is it's like a movie screen. It's not bad. And
Getting better.
I get pictures of what's here. Or do I really get pictures? Pablo, what am I really getting? I'm getting electrical impulses, buddy. I'm actually getting, what I'm getting is, I'm getting an interpretation inside my mind, inside my head, of of my body's reaction, of my retina's reaction. Let me give you a little bit better one than that, and that's from the ear. You can really see it with the ear. Because I have this opening in my ear where sound enters, and it comes in through here, and it strikes something. What does it strike? It strikes the tympanic membrane. The other word for it is the eardrum. And what does it do? What does the tympanic membrane do? It vibrates. It reacts. Now, there is an entire system called the middle and inner ear of little organs that actually measure not the sound striking it, but the membrane reacting. It's reacting to the sound. So it's measuring the vibration here. Just like in my mind, the picture is being developed from the reaction of my retina to the light, not the light itself. So it's the reaction to the light. Okay?
Okay.
The reaction to the sound, which I interpret as sound in my head. So all of this stuff, whether it is music, whether I'm listening to music, or whether it is seeing something like this, like a scene, like the scene that I see around me, every single bit of it is literally an imagination in my mind. It's my mind's interpretation of what it perceives as happening as outside of me. How do I know it's accurate? I can guarantee you it's not. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. No way. How could it be?
But that's all the data that I have.
I'm using it to compare with what I think I already know. How do I know what's outside of me? I don't. And what's worse is it's getting mixed up with my ego. So I'm interpreting what's good or bad based upon what I like and don't like.
Mm-hmm. If I like it, I'm placing my judgment on it. If I like it, it's good.
Right.
If I don't like it, it's bad. Yeah.
Let's continue on to more questions.
Okay.
Other one, left one.
Oh, left one. Paco from Spain. If we are one and the same soul, why a general and a particular Gemar Tikkun?
Balaam told the story of a man, king, and he had to move a great treasure. The problem with this great treasure is that he couldn't trust any single person to move it. It would be too great of temptation for one person or two or three to move it. And so he got everyone in the entire village to come and move the treasure for him. Each one of them carrying just a little bit. Now, they all didn't reach the location at the same time because it's impossible. But, because there were thousands of them, but they moved the treasure slowly. And some got there before the others, and that's fine too. This is precisely the situation that we find ourselves in because we have, instead of one giant soul with one giant clump of egoism, it was broken into tiny pieces that kept on dividing from 600,000 to 7 billion, so that we are able to correct a real small part a lot of times instead of one big part once, which would be much, much harder. And it wouldn't be us, it would be it.
And that number is reflective of the size of the level of egoism?
That's exactly right. And by the way, you'll notice that sometimes the population grows, sometimes it shrinks a little bit. That's all
Fluctuation in the
you bet.
level of egoism.
Sure.
Interesting.
Yeah. Gives you a new slant on the crises that we have faced and are facing, by the way. And how that's a reflection of actually being pushed back and forth right now to begin this process.
Bernard, what do you do if your corporeal desires are greater than your spiritual desires?
Sometimes they are, Bernard. What can you do? You can place yourself in the proper environment. That means the route, the books, and the group. There's nothing, no greater environment. Where am I going to get the additional desire? Where is this desire going to be built? Because if the only thing that's going to get me into spirituality, period, is to have the right prayer, the right huge request, the right desire, in the high enough quantity and quality to where I actually enter spirituality. Right?
Right.
Where am I going to get that? I get that from my friends. I get it from the materials. I get it from the Rav. I get it from all three places.
Robert wants to know, can races be characterized collectively as having achieved levels of Gemar Tikkun, i.e. Jewish people compared to Arabs, etc.?
No, none have. No group has no race has achieved Gemar Tikkun.
Robert again, does Kabbalah address only individuals or groups also, i.e. relationships, families, races, humanity?
You're looking at groups the wrong way, Robert. Robert, a group in spirituality, similarity is similarity in desire. And that is all that Kabbalah speaks about. It doesn't speak about here. It doesn't speak about corporeality. I know that's a hard one, but it doesn't.
Liz, I want you to bring it down to earth. This is such a foreign language. The Rosh of the world of Absolute, which consists of Atik, Eric Ampen, and Abba Vahima, was the first to emerge on the Rosh of the non-broken Kalim. What did I do? Reshima, I'm sorry. Of the non-broken Kalim of the world of Nicodim. Could you please bring it down to earth for some of us? How about all of us?
Bring it down to earth?
No, I think we need to go up there.
You're exactly right. The problem that you have here, Liz, what you're saying is, here's where you get Sarah and Asiya. Here is our entire corporeal universe, all on this dot. Okay? Now, what she wrote about the Rosh of Eric Anpin, Atik Eric Anpin, and Abba Vahima that were first emerged from the Reshimo, the reminiscences of the Rosh, the Galgaltavian Ayim of Keter, the Ahop of Keter, and Abba Vahima. Could you bring it down to earth for some of us? So what she's saying is, can I relate this to something in corporeality? Absolutely not. Not a chance. How? There is nothing. These are all spiritual desire, spiritual qualities to bestow. It doesn't exist here. People are always wanting to know, Liz, how do I bestow here? What is here? Total, complete, 100% concealment of the quality of bestowal. So how are you going to do that? That's like being in the ocean and saying, I want to be dry here. Well, you can want it, but I mean, it's not possible to be in the ocean and dry at the same time. You can't do it. So, let's look at it from another perspective and see if this will help you. What's happening? Why did this breaking occur? This breaking occurred to mix.
So that we have a chance to get back up
Exactly right. It mixes the properties of the Creator. It corrupts them and brings them down to the properties of the creature. In other words, it mixes our properties with the Creator's properties. There's another breaking that's going to happen, and that's going to be with Adam. Because it's going to think that it can draw the light. It's going to be an accident. It's not going to do it on purpose. But there's going to be another breaking, and what in the world's going to happen? When it breaks this time, the opposite's going to happen. It's going to mix parts of the creature
with the Creator.
With the Creator. What parts? Remember those little X's?
Mm-hmm.
It's called the souls. Those little things that you see as individuals down here. Yes?
Yes.
That's about as close as we can get to bringing it all the way down here. Another question? We've only got 5 minutes left, so we'll be taking it from there next week.
Bruce, you said that some, after they have reached correction, choose to be lowered back down to help others. Could Jesus or Buddha be examples of this?
We get these questions a whole lot with regard to religious figures and that kind of thing. And most certainly the best way for me to say this is, when you enter spirituality, you'll find out. Because you'll be able to see that spiritual root. So, find out for yourself. That's the best way to say it.
Simone asked, does this explain a lack of feeling attainment? Does this explain continued push from behind? Why do we become ahead of the push from behind? When do we come from the push behind?
I'm not sure what she'd be referring to, because when you say does this, you posted that when I was going over something, and I have no idea what. But the lack of a sensation of attainment is there is no attainment. What attainment? What was the next question?
Oh, sorry. I'm going the wrong direction. Continue.
This explain the continued push from behind. We're always pushed from behind. We have some good times. We have to have some good times because we have to have pleasure to exist. But at the same time, we get a whole lot of pushes from behind from the backside of the Creator. That's restricting reception. In order to help us. In order to motivate us to fulfill the reason that we exist on the planet. When do we become ahead of the push from behind? You become ahead of the push as long as you keep yourself immersed in the goal. Simone, if you're not buried into the goal, if it isn't the most important thing to you, the moment it becomes unimportant to you, now you'll receive the push. Now you have no other option. You have to be pushed from behind. More?
Robert from Dallas Some Kabbalists say that not only reincarnation, but also astrology is important to understand as we study these matters. Do you have any comments on this?
Sure do. No Kabbalist says that. Some people that call themselves Kabbalists say that, but no Kabbalist says that. Not a chance. Astrology has nothing to do with Kabbalah.
Can you say his name? Ricardo?
I go with Ricardo.
Ricardo from the Philippines. Hello. How can we sharpen our organs of sensation? Secondly, how can we acquire the attributes of level 0 up to level 4, and how can it penetrate us to sense it?
Have to acquire what's broke. What happened? What actually broke in this? If you all will remember me telling you earlier, what do we have? We have a vessel, and we have an intention over it that's called a masach. What is that masach? It is the intention to do what the Creator does. Now, the vessel itself just wants what? Pleasure. Give it to me. This is what I want. So what's going to happen? This masach, this intention to bestow, is going to be covering the desires. And it is the actual active part. It's the part that's saying, no, you don't. The Creator says, I want to give to you, take, here it is. Just want to give you pleasure. The masach says, no thank you. Pass. Keep it. Don't want it. And then it begins to calculate. How? Because from that rejection, from that tzimtzum, it builds a rosh that makes a calculation. How much of this pleasure can I receive from the Creator in order to fulfill the desire of the Creator? So, we sharpen our organs of sensation. We don't need to sharpen it. It's like this. We need to repair it. We have, this thing broke. The masach broke and fell. Broke. We need to fix the masach. That's everything. What's it like? Ricardo, listen to this. It's the same as if I don't have an eardrum. I don't care how good your hearing is. You take out your eardrum, you're deaf as a post. You have to have it because you have to have the vibrations. You take out your retina out of your eye that stops the light and causes it a reaction from the rods and the cones on the backside of the retina that send the signal into the brain, or at least transmit the signal into the brain. You have to have that thing that stops the signal, something to react against. That thing is called a masach. And it is precisely what is required in order to be able, not to sharpen your senses, to, from the very first part, from the get-go, to be able to sense anything at all. Even the smallest, tiniest thing in spirituality. Smallest one. How can we acquire the attributes of level 0 up to level 4? How can it penetrate us to sense it? Same answer. Messiah. Simple. We're at that time. It is 8:30 this evening. I would like to thank everyone for joining us. Dave,
thank you very
so
much
again for being here. And Dave will be with us again next Sunday night. And you will have a lesson this Wednesday evening with Tony. It will be an excellent branch making a new lesson. And then back with us again next Sunday night. And until then, we wish you well. And please, we have a lot of questions here, Dave.
Yeah, there's a few more.
Yeah, it'd be good to send them to the forum, I think.
Yeah, post your questions on the forum, and we'll try to answer them.
We'll bring it. If I don't, Dave and William both will spend all night, if need be, to answer every question you have. They just growled at me. So you guys have a wonderful evening, and good night.
Good night.